family? It's Tasha MAMABEAR prepping. You already know what time it is, baby. Get your cup, pull up. I got my little teacup for Tasha. I'm going to take a little sip. It's nice and hot. Okay, I'm going to turn that around because I like my handle on this side. So, obviously I'm back, you know that. So I'm going to be bringing some topics as I see stuff in the news happening. Just like before, I'm going to be bringing my opinion, especially when people ask for it. So yesterday, you know, I received an email of somebody kind of inquiring why I wasn't talking about the NATO attack, right? And at first I kind of was like, who are you to tell me, you know, like, why am I not talking about it? Like, first of all, I just came back. Like, hello, like, there's such a big heaviness of expectations and what the people want. Okay, so I'm going to discuss it today. Now, as anybody that's been following it, you kind of know the game plan now. Reports are coming out this morning about it being basically friendly fire. Now, in the military, friendly fire actually happens a lot. Now, I'm not going to drop no bombs on certain branches, but certain branches are known to have a ton of friendly fire, and that just goes to the level of training, how often you do it, the number of folks that you're trying to train at one evolution, just all these variations and variables, I should say, when it comes to why friendly fire even happens, how it could even happen. Now, I'll take you back to the other day when I got the same alerts all on my phone from all of my news sources, you know, attack on NATO land, and 2 people killed, right? And so I was like everybody else, like, ooh, this might be it, right? Because I think everybody's waiting for that other shoe to drop. Everything's been going on the way it's going on. It's a proxy war, but I think everybody is kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop, meaning when an attack is made on any of the NATO countries, okay? And what that would involve, and for us, we directly want to know what will be our part, what will be our physical part, and what that looks like, right? What that develops into. And I think that that's what worries people. Now, so when you get an alert saying, you know, 2 people dead, missiles did fall on, you know, a little town in Poland, on the Poland side, it's like, whoa, what's going on? What happened? But I'll tell you from jump, okay, my immediate response was like, oh, what's this? And I started reading them. And all of the articles, everybody, it didn't matter what news circuit was putting it out, have the same message and the same really soft, sus language, okay? Meaning from jump, they were using words like, not sure, not likely, need to see, could have been. The one language that jumped out at me was Russian made, wasn't really saying Russia fired it, but Russian made missiles, which to allude to the fact that there's a lot of Russian made missiles out there, to include Soviet era stuff that Ukrainians might have. So it was just questions from the jump, like, this is real sus. This, first of all, it's very weak. It's funny that everybody's reporting on it, but it was very weak, very sus, very like, okay, this kind of sounds weak from the beginning, like this ain't really an attack on NATO. See, the thing is like, when the day comes when we're actually attacked, and I'm just going to say we loosely and just talk about NATO in general, you're going to know, right? Because everybody and their mother is going to be talking about it, and you're going to hear different language. You're going to hear bolder language, okay? You're going to hear stuff like consequences, right? You're going to know. It's like 9/11. We didn't necessarily know what was happening, like who, and it didn't really matter. All that mattered that everybody was validated and could see with their eyes, with their own 2 eyes, what was happening, and that serious stuff was going to be serious repercussions, consequences. Like, we were attacked. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, right? And so it was weak from jump, right? The language was weak. It didn't sound. And then you didn't hear from the president immediately, right? Now, of course, he's overseas. He's busy, time zones, whatever. But again, I think you would have had an immediate response, even from this president, okay? And I say that with full confidence just from my military background. We would have heard something, okay, from somebody, maybe not him, but somebody, right, of importance in that echelon of military background, right, for the president. But we didn't. And that just bolstered it and made it validated for me that, okay, this is probably friendly fire. This is probably not what they are alluding to, right? To, clickbait, if you will, to get it going. I mean, 2 people died. So, I'm glad it was reported on. It's not cool when stuff's not reported on and people are like, wow, I didn't even know that happened. And a lot of times friendly fire, we don't talk about that stuff. But I think there's so many eyes on this that, you can't do it. But they did it in a way that they thought they could as far as weakening the story. And then, of course, today, President finally came out and discussed, had an emergency meeting and yesterday, and right away was speaking weak language in the sense of dialing it down. Unlikely that it's Russia. Not that we'll find out, be calm, be cool, and there'll be consequences if we find out that this is, Russia. No, none of that. It was very calm, cool, collected. It's unlikely that it was actually physically them, right? And that it's a Russian missile, but it wasn't Russia. Very unlikely. And then therefore, Poland Prime Minister, he was saying the same thing. And then the whole storyline is NATO is going to just back up Poland while Poland does this investigation and actually goes further and finds out like truly what happened. And then already this morning, because again, I'm sure the American people are like, what? We better have answers quick. How long does it take to find out where this stuff comes from? Yada, yada, yada. Well, this morning when you woke up, there's all types of articles stating that it's been confirmed that, it wasn't Russia. It's Ukrainian troops that were fighting Russians in the immediate area. They're very, very close to the border. And some stuff got away from them, whether that was offshoot from missiles hitting missiles, whatever it was. But basically, they're taking the blame that it's Russian, not Russian, that it's Ukrainian, it's friendly fire, basically, right? Obviously, Ukrainians are not fighting Poland. And I think, too, you would have seen a bigger response because we are in Poland. Our war gaming started many months ago and only got stronger when you get into country and you really start war gaming. We're dug in there. I just think that the response, if it was truly a validated 100% event, you would have known it right away. The second piece of this is trust and believe that, and again, I'm not sure 100% how I feel about NATO and how things would unfold with NATO. I've done lots of joint military exercises that go very well, worked with lots of countries, that goes well. We do exercises all the time. So it's not improbable for countries to work together, their militaries to work together. We already do that, right? But I'm not sure in a real, true, big time war, and the dynamics of the layout of the land, how this will work, right? And calling the shots and executing kill shots, right? And so what I can say is that I have a lot of confidence that when stuff happens to us and we react as a country, stuff gets done. And your president is not going to come out and say, and your military is not going to come out and say what we plan to do. We might come out and say, this happened. These are the facts. These people died. These Americans died. We will bring this to justice and say, and if they have a name or if they know who did it, they'll do that. But they're not going to just lay out their plans and how they're going to execute that to you. And oftentimes you're not going to know what happened until after it has happened. Okay. And so when that situation happened, in my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder what's happening behind the scenes, but it was such weak language. I'm like, okay, Is this them just calming us down as a people because they are trying to truly figure out what happened, and they just want everybody to stay calm because they know our expectations are, you better rain it down, right? It's time to make it rain. You know, or was it truly what it was, or what was reported that it was basically friendly fire, okay? Which does happen a lot. But I have faith that the real deal when it happens, and I do say when it happens, because I think that my full belief is that NATO is going to be engaged at some point, right? There is no backing up in this war, right? And so those war gamings, all those things that we're putting in place, and when I say we, NATO as a whole, are putting in place, actions to executions, you know, missiles downrange, ready to go, locked and loaded, I think we're going to get our chance to do that. And I think that Poland has been preparing as for a while. Back when they were having issues with Belarus, before all this kicked off, they were having such a hard time with Belarus. And of course, Belarus is kind of aligned with Russia. And so I think that's where you're going to see that their offensive take a shot at us, okay? But we'll see how things unfold. I'm very, very calm about the war situation, right? The war front. I like to pay attention. I like to see what's going on. I was you know, I woke up when I saw that, you know, I perked up when I saw the initial report. But then as soon as I read it, and maybe that was the point of the writing, I was like, okay, I'm not sure this is anything really. And everybody was reporting on it. And I understood that passion and that what's going on. And then I understood you know, the president hasn't come out yet and even told us anything. And, you know, I understood all that stuff, but I guess the article did for me what it was supposed to do, which was to make it neutral in the sense of this is probably not something to be worried about, right? This is probably not what, you know, we hope it is. Like, we hope it isn't what it has the possibility to be, right? So at the end of the day, you know, hey, it's calmness again. You know, we'll just have to see how things unfold. The problem is when things like this happen too, you know, you shouldn't just be taking the news 100% for what they tell you either, right? And so I'm just going off of my gut and my military background and what I know to be true with friendly fire and the language that they used. And I didn't feel a sense of like trickery, like they just want us to believe what they want us to believe. And I think that everybody is waiting for that other shoe to drop. And so when this happened, it's like, oh, this might be it, you know. But immediately people were like, nah, I don't think it's it. This might be something else. And they weren't 100% sure. You know, ideally, if there wasn't all these eyes on it, you know, it probably wouldn't have been, it sounds like it wouldn't have been something that they even brought up, okay? Because again, we don't like to bring up friendly fire type situations. So we will see as the days unfold, the weeks unfold. I think you shouldn't be losing sleep. I think it's smart to watch all news outlets and see what is happening, what is being said, pay attention. I watch a couple channels that I really appreciate. You know, some people don't like these channels, but I watch some channels because they do have more of an insight. They're really invested in investigating what's going on and news resources, and they have people in those areas that are actually feeding them information, subscribers that are feeding them information. And so I take it with a grain of salt with all news outlets, these YouTube channels, but I get a sense of getting a little bit more information that you're not going to get from your everyday, you know, your media, your everyday social media and your news media. We're not always going to get the truth with them. So that's just to clear up. So I hope the person that asked me to discuss that you understand maybe why I didn't bring it up and talk about it the day that it happened. These are my thoughts. This is what I think of things. I think that your energy, our energy, should be directed on other things right now. It should be directed on your budget, how you continue to put food on the table, how you continue to be able to get the things that you need in your house, continue to prepare for grid down, continue to prepare for EMP life. Learn to garden, grow food, get your water, get your food. I think medicine needs to be a huge piece of that. And I think that it's really, really important that you concentrate on your family, and the things that you do with your family now matter, because you might not be able to do them later. And financially, getting and doing the things that you want to do financially right now, whether that's buying land, buying property, whether that's buying preparedness items, whether that's just stockpiling your stuff, whether that's buying food and just trying to preserve it and make it shelf stable, whatever that is for you and your family, paying down your debt, paying off your cars, whatever, that should be the concentration, right? Times are tough, and they're going to get tougher. We are going towards a Great Depression. And for a lot of people I know watching me, especially, you're ready. You're ready. You've got the things, you're prepping, you're still continuing to do food preservation, grow food, whatever. And you feel like, let's just get it on and popping because I'm ready. Well, let's just be calm and cool and just continue to prepare and enjoy life, right? Do not forget to enjoy life, right? Life has changed for us with this visit. We're very, very busy. Our schedules change, but it makes you realize how important life really is, right? And family really is. So do that. Know that there is more important things happening than what's happening over there between those countries, unfortunately. Keep your eye on the on the ball, what's happening, but don't let that rule your life and your energy, okay? So I will see you guys next time on the next video. I hope you guys are well. Take care. Bye.